So what this is saying is, basically, we want equation. When you have equations, what are coefficients, by the way? Yeah. Yeah, something that in front of the variable is fraction. That's all. Okay, so something like this, guys. By the way, when you have this though, this is the key. Write this down. This is going to help you a lot. Okay, whenever you see equations with fractional coefficient, meaning the coefficient is not a integer, but if it's fraction, what I want you to do is, and what the book suggests you do, is that you multiply by the LCD. So, why would I want to do this? Well, you see, this, yeah, it's going to be really, really nice when you do this. So, do you guys remember what an LCD is? Least common denominator, okay? Or actually, it could be LCD, least common multiple, but we'll just stick with LCD. So something like this. Look at this example. As you can see, we have an equation with fractional coefficient. What is the coefficient of this n, the first fraction? Yes, sir? Is it 1, really? Or is it, if you look at the whole thing, the coefficient of this n over 3 is, yes? 1/3. Isn't this really 1/3 times n? That's how you get n over 3, right? Because 1/3 times n is same as 1/3 times n over 1, right? What is the coefficient of the next term? Yes? 1/4 times n, exactly, right? That's how we get n over 4. You guys see that? So whenever you have equations, right? That has, we got a bunch of denominators. We want to get rid of these denominators. To do this, all you have to do is multiply both sides by the LCD. What's the LCD for 3 and 4? 12. Raise your hand. Yes? 12. Guess what we're going to do now? Multiply both sides by 12. Okay, so look what happens when we do this. And look at why we're doing this. So let's multiply both sides by 12. Somebody tell me what, okay, so do you think I need to distribute this 12 to both of the terms? Yes? If I do this, let's see, what do we get here? Vlad, tell me what I get.
12n over 3 plus 12n over 4.
Good, equals 2. Can I forget about this 7 times 12? No, I gotta still multiply by 7 times 12, which is 84. And look what happens. Does 3 go into 12? How many times? 4 times. It must go in, right? Because by the definition of LCD, remember LCD, right? These denominator must go into that number, right? And 4 goes into 12 3 times. That's why we chose LCD. Look what happens. It becomes really nice, right? This whole equation with a bunch of fractions, right? Now becomes an equation without any fraction. Well, without any denominators. Well, the denominator is really 1. So we get 4n plus 3n equals 84. You see how nice it becomes? Now, do we know how to solve an equation that looks like this? Yes? Okay, so everybody go ahead and try. Tell me what the answer is. Okay, everybody. Go ahead. Yes, everybody? Done? No? Austin, what'd you get?
N equals 12.
Say it again?
N equals 12.
N equals to 12. Let's see. How many people got n equals to 12? Good. Okay. So you get 7n, right? And when you add them together, this is what you get, right? Question?
You have to times by 12. Can't you just do times the first one by 4 and times the
Oh, 4 over 4 you mean, not 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's a good, so a lot of people were asking this also. That's a good point. Some people are saying, wait a minute. We sort of studied something like this where you have n over 3 plus n over 4. Don't we have to make it into a common denominator and add them together and so forth? Right? Could we do that? Like, could we multiply n over 3 by 4 over 4, which is 1 really, right? And n over 4 by 3 over 3, and then add them together. Yeah, and then multiply both sides by 12 and stuff like that. You could do it that way, but this way is a little bit easier because you're going to have to multiply both sides by 12 anyway. Why do all that work of making it into a common denominator? When do we have to do that? When do we have to make something into a common denominator and add them and so forth? When you have, yes? When the bottom is binomial? Not quite. I think you guys remember if I had something like n over 3 plus n over 4? Is this an equation or expression? If you had an expression this way only, right? Could you multiply both sides by 12 on this expression? No, you don't have any both sides. You only have one side. So when you're simplifying, I think that's where you're kind of getting that idea from. I mean, you could do it this way, but it's more work. When you're simplifying an expression, right, that involves fraction, that's when you want to have a common denominator and so forth. Right? Does that make sense? But now that we have an equation, guess what? We can multiply both sides by d, LCD, and make it like this simple. You see how it makes it really simple this way? You guys understand what I'm trying to say? So that's why I said in the very beginning, when you have an equation, right, and you have when you have denominators, simply multiply both sides by d, LCD. I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking when you had an expression, right, we couldn't do that because there weren't any both sides, right? There was only one side. Do you see what I'm trying to say? It'll still work, but it'll be more work. Yes? Do you believe me? Okay, so just, okay. I mean, you will still get the right answer. You just have to take a couple more steps. Okay? Any questions? Are you convinced that this is what we should do? Okay? Yeah. All right, let's look at example 2 then. 1, y minus 1 over 3 minus y plus 1 over 5 equals to 2. Now, you're right. I could, change both of these fractions to make it into so that they have common denominators and add them all together. But that's more work. You're going to have to multiply both sides by the LCD to both sides anyway, right, at the end of that? So why not do this now? But before I do anything, do you think that little subtraction right in the middle of this fraction could cause you like serious mistakes, right? So do you think you should change it to addition first? Okay, go ahead and do that, and then multiply both sides by the LCD, which is what? What's the LCD of 3 and 15, class? I mean 3 and 5, I think I said. 3 and 5, what's the LCD? 15, okay? So make sure make it into addition, especially the one in the middle, right? That's subtraction. And multiply both sides by 15 and see what you get. Go ahead, everybody try. All right, now, what should I do? First of all, who could tell me what to do next? 2 people. Same 2 people. 3. Okay, go ahead. Ali, what do you think?
You multiply each side by 15.
That's right. And let me change this to addition. Did you all do this?
Yeah.
Okay. I change this to addition plus -1 times y plus 1. Whoops. Right? And so, then, what do I get next? So I get 15 over 3, right? Times y minus 1 plus negative. Why is it negative 15 over 5? Raise your hand. Yes, sir.
Because you distributed the negative, like it's the subtraction sign, like you made it a negative.
Yeah. So when I change the subtraction into addition, it's really -1 times this thing. So 15 times -1 is, of course, negative 15, right? Over 5. And, of course, on the right side, did anybody write left it as 2? Okay, you can't do that. If you're going to multiply left side by 15, guess what? You must multiply the right side by 15. Yeah, it's an equation. Left side is equal to the right side. So therefore, again, we're using the addition property, multiplication property of equality, remember? So this simply becomes this. You see how we had original equation this way? Now it just simply becomes, and it'll be even simpler once we distribute this 5 and -15, -3, right? So it just becomes 5y minus 5 plus -3y plus -3. Did you all get plus -3 over here, or -3 at the end? Okay, right? Good. So then, Paul, what did you guys do after this? Simplify. Tell me what I get when I simplify.
2y
Mm-hmm.
minus
8. 2y minus 8 equals to 30, right?
Yeah.
So then, of course, we add 8 to both sides. Divide both sides by 2. How many people got? How many groups got 19? Any question? Any question? Is this pretty straightforward? Do you like how we multiply both sides by the LCD and make these equations really simple? Okay. it becomes really simple, okay, once you do that. Let's look at the next example then. Why don't you try this one yourself then, with your group, okay? Go ahead. All right. Feel free to ask your group members questions if you're stuck, or feel free to help others, okay, too, within your group. Go ahead, everybody try. Here we go. So, how many group, okay, so what is my LCD class? 6 is correct. So how many people, how many group did this first? Raise your hand. Let me see. How many groups? Oh, I'm sorry. How many groups multiply both sides by 6? I'm sure everyone did, right? Okay, Austin, tell me what you do next. What did you write? Shh, listen. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Good. I actually wrote this step out. So for those of you that make silly mistakes like I do, you might want to write this step out.
But that's not what I did.
No, I know. But then at the end, not at the end. After that, just like Austin says, you should get 12y minus 3y equals to 2y minus 42. Okay. Isn't that right? You didn't do it this way?
Yeah.
Well, let me finish this way and then maybe talk about your way. Then, what should we do next here? We need to, of course, simply,
Subtract 2y.
yeah, simplify. The left side is 2y minus 3y is, of course, 9y, right? And so we have to gather our like terms. So 2y and then 9y, we should get rid of the 2y, right? Subtract 2y from both sides. I get 7y equals to negative 42. Then, of course, if you divide both sides by 7, you get negative 6 as the answer. Any question? How many groups got negative 6? Raise your hand. Negative 6 should be the answer. If you didn't, do you guys see the mistakes? Help each other out. Okay, fix it. I'll give you time. Okay, how did you do it?
Just show it on the
Sure, bring your paper. Okay, so now that we got example 3, why don't we try this one? Everybody go ahead and try. 0 equals to 4n. Okay, shh, guys. 4n minus 4n plus 5 over 6. Okay, go ahead. By the way, do you think it's a good idea to change it to addition? In the middle right here, especially if it's between these terms? Yes, you should always do that because otherwise it's very easy to make silly mistakes and get the whole thing wrong, okay? So make sure you do that, okay? Go ahead, everybody try. William, can you help me how to do it? Okay, what do I do first? That's right, multiply both sides by 6. By the way, did you guys change it to addition like this? Plus negative 1 times this? On the left. Oh, do we need more time to kind of, do we need, okay. On the left, what's 6 times 0, class?
0.
All right. On the right side, what does this become? Shh. Okay.
minus 4n minus
Yeah,
5.
6 times 4n. Don't you have to distribute this 6 to 4n? What is that? 24. What about this? 6 times this term. What do you get? Yes?
Don't you get times that term? The 4n plus 5 over 6?
No, the 6, what happens to 6 on the bottom? And
They
they cancel out. So it just becomes this. Right? Don't you get 0? By the way, if we get 0 on the left side, is it okay to just kind of not write anything? No. Then your equation becomes an expression. I've seen so many people do that. Okay, equation does not become an expression all of a sudden, okay? Guys, if you get 0, you need to write 0, okay? It doesn't just go away, okay? All right, so when I distribute this negative 1, did you all get 24n minus 4n minus 5? This is important right here. Did you get minus 5 right here? Okay, if you get plus 5, then you're not going to get the right answer. All right, then Aaron, what do I do next? Yes, then tell me what to write.
0 equals 20n minus 5.
Very good. Then, of course, what do we do, class? We gather the like term, right? You got a number on the left side, it's 0, but it's still a number, okay? People think that it's not still a number. So you add 5 to both sides. You divide both sides by 20. N equals to 1/4. How many groups got 1/4? That's the answer. Raise your hand. If you did not, ask me questions. Fix it now. Okay. This seems like most of you did. Does anyone have any question? Do you guys see the mistakes if you didn't get this? Okay. Yes? We good? All right. Guess what we have next? your favorite parts of these type of questions? There you go, word problems. So, example 5. This one's pretty straightforward. So, 1/3 of a number is 1/3 of a number is 4 more than 1/5 of the number. Find the number. Okay, there's your question. By the way, what's your unknown? X, which is what?
The number.
The number. Okay, so that's kind of obvious. All right, so that's your unknown. Go ahead, everybody. See if you can come up with the equation and solve. Go ahead, everybody try. Now, so who thinks? Now, guys, I hope you realize that all these skills that we learned from previous chapters. Chapter 1 through 5 and 6. Converting sentence into an equation. It comes once you learned it, right? It's the same exact thing that we've been doing so far, right? All this time. Because all you have to do is now convert the sentence into an equation, right? And you just solve the equation. That's it. It's not, right? It's the same thing that we've been doing all this time, right? So once you learned it, right, it gets used throughout the whole chapter. Who thinks they know how to change this sentence into an equation? Yes, Jamin?
So I should say equation.
Yeah, tell me the equation. We've already declared our variable, so.
X over 3 equals x over 5 plus 4.
Yeah. Basically, isn't this what we did in the very beginning of the year, right? Same skill. We're using the same exact skill. Okay, whenever you see word problem, right, it's the same skill. But what's the difference? Now, right, you get an equation where you have to get rid of the denominators. What are we going to do? This is what we just learned, right? What do we do next? By the way, does this make sense? Right? 1/3 of a number, 1/3 times x, is, what does is mean? Equals to 4 more than. How come I didn't write 4 plus? Why is it something plus 4? You guys remember more than or less than? Right, you have to switch the order. So something more than 4. So what is that something? Well, it's 1/5 of the number. Right? Okay. What do we need to multiply both sides by? How about Stefan?
5.
5? You sure? We got the denominator of 3 and 5, so 15. So you need to multiply both sides by 15. So when you do that, this whole equation becomes really, really simple. It just becomes 5x equals to 3x plus 60. Rachel, what do I do next? Subtract 3x. How many people got 30 as the answer? Raise your hand. How many groups got 30? Does this make sense? Yes? All right.
Do you have another example?
Yes, there's one more, and that's it. Okay, this is the last one. Okay, let's do the last one. Okay, here you go. Example 6. Write this down.
What is the first one?
Min saved 1/6 of her earnings and used 2/3 for food and clothes. She has $15 left. How much did she earn? So, I don't know. That's what he says. Okay, don't worry about it. So, Min saved 1/6 of her earnings and used 2/3 for food and clothes. She has $15 left. How much does she earn? By the way, what is your unknown?
How much do you earn?
How much you earn. So let's just do that step. And all you have to do is now come up with an equation. By the way, when they say 2/3 right here that she used for food and clothes, how much? What? 2/3 of what are they talking about?
The money?
How money was she
Earn.
earned? Okay, does that make sense? It's not after her saving. It's whatever she earned. Does that make sense, guys? Hello? I think that's kind of okay. Go ahead. Come up with an equation now and solve. Equation, because equation is the one that is sort of. Because I saw some people do 1/6x minus 2/3 x equals 15. That's not true at all. That doesn't make any sense, right? That 1/6x is how much you saved, and if you subtract 2/3 from your saving, you get 15. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so anybody have an equation? 2 people, 3, 4. Rachel, what did you come up with? Let's listen.
1/6x minus 2/3 equals 15.
1/6x minus 2/3. Well, 2/3. It says 2/3 of her money that she made. So I don't think that's quite right. Because if you just do 2/3, right? Gianni.
X minus 1/6 x minus 2/3 x equals 15.
That's what I think I got too. Where did you get this x, Johnny, from? Why do you have to have x minus 1/6x minus 2/3 x equals 15? Yeah, that's her total money, guys. You have to say, right? You have to subtract from her total money how much she spent, right? Okay? Does this make sense? So you need to use your logic here, right? By the way, did anybody do it this way? Because you could actually done it this way. You know, like how much she spent, all of them plus, you add them all together, it equals to the total. You could do it this way too. 1/6x, guys, listen. 1/6x plus 2/3, right? Those are the money that she spent, plus $15, right? Whatever that's left should equal to how much money she earned. So you could have done it this way. Doesn't matter which way, but they're both really equivalent. Isn't that right? Okay, now that you have the equation, go ahead. Everybody try to solve. I'll give you some more time. Now, let's take a look at what we do here. Okay, I know that some of you are still working on this, but can I have your attention? Let's just do this together. Ryan, what should I do first here? Yeah. I think I used the first equation. So what do you think? It doesn't really matter, first or second one. Good. Multiply both sides by 6, right? Why not 18? Why 6? Because 6 is your LCD, right? Doesn't 3 go into 6? Okay, so yeah, you could still do it with 18, but it's easier with a smaller number. That's why, you know, we want to make it simple as possible. When you do this, listen, you simply get 6x minus x minus 4x equals 90. Right, guys? Right. So then what do we get here? Sarah? Did you get the answer? What did you get? Oh, Sarah, hey, did you get the answer? Oh. Did you guys, do you at least have, okay, Gemma, what did you get?
I got share $90.
$90? Anybody have a different answer? Okay, let's see. You get, what's 6x minus x, class? What's 5x minus 4x? Yeah, you're right, it's $90. Good. How many group got $90? Raise your hand.
Thank God for Aaron.
Good. Good. Aaron helped you? Very good. That's why we're sitting as a group. Okay, go ahead, fix your mistakes.